Hey guys. All right. So we're going to practice some Vinyasa yoga today. And let's, as usual, start with a little bit of breathing. I think I've mentioned in the past weeks how I've been kind of doing a deep dive on the breathing lately. And it reinforces, everything that I've learned in yoga about how important the breath is. So I suspect that in a class like this one, it's easy to forget the breathing and to get caught up in the postures and all that. But what really makes the posture practice so powerful is the breathing. So we, again, you've heard me say it before, but I'll say it again. We want to think of this as a breathing exercise with postures, not the other way around. So really focus in on your breathing. Whatever you're doing, just keep coming back to noticing how it's affecting your breath. And it's not to say that you're going to breathe perfectly the whole time. That's not the intention. In fact, we sort of want to push ourselves to where our breath is beginning to get a little funny. And that's where the magic happens, right? Where our breath begins to get labored, or we want to start to breathe through our mouth or hyperventilate or hold our breath. By becoming conscious of that and then changing that pattern, that's sort of how we're rewiring things, if you will. Okay, so very, very important that we notice those small changes in our breath. So coming onto your mat, just finding a nice comfortable seat. We'll sit tall because that helps to open up the, the breathing cavity. I sometimes refer to this as your power plant, your lungs and your diaphragm in yoga. So this is where our chi, our prana, comes from the yogic perspective. And so we begin breathing with just awareness and noticing that we're breathing through the nose. So we want to breathe through the nose the entire time, and it should be a conscious choice. Once we've established the breathing through the nose, we can begin to deepen our breath, breathing in 3 parts. So filling the belly, ribs, and then the upper chest lifts. And as we exhale, we reverse that. That's called Dirga. And then we begin to add the glottis to create that ocean sound, Ujjayi, the victory breath. And then the final technique is Samavriti. Sama means same, vritti means movement. And what that means for us is the inhale is the same length as the exhale, the same amount of movement happening. So you inhale for whatever number, 3, 6, 10, and you exhale for the same amount. Now again, as we begin practicing, these things will change. But we start in this very easy position so that we can kind of establish our best breath. And then as we begin to practice, we kind of mess up our best breath, again, intentionally. And then as it gets messed up, we want to notice it. And then we kind of bring it back as close as we can to the breathing that we're doing here in this seated position. Okay, so we'll exhale into a tabletop. And we begin with cat-cow. So inhale, tailbone lifts, belly drops, crown of the head up. Exhale, tailbone tucks, back rounds, crown of the head down. Just moving back and forth, warming up the spine and the back. Still breathing very deeply and fully, as usual. Once you feel you've warmed up there, you can tuck your toes, lift your hips, and come up and back into the down dog. Bring up the limbs now. And then coming into your full expression of down dog for a few breaths. With our next exhale, let's walk our feet to our hands. We'll come into a ragdoll. And then with our next inhale, we'll gradually roll on up to standing, stacking the ears, shoulders, hips, knees, and heels. So we can think of yoga in one way as becoming, making unconscious things that are happening conscious. So our breath is a great example of that. We breathe whether we're conscious of it or not, but in yoga, we're trying to become conscious of it. So at this point, I often mention the face and the jaw and the shoulders. Again, these are areas that we tend to unconsciously create tension. And I'll tell you a secret that yoga teaches us when we get deep enough into it. And that secret is that we create our own suffering. 100% of it, 100% of the time. I know that you might not believe that or understand that, and that's okay. But this is what yoga teaches us, really. And so if we can become conscious enough, we recognize how we are creating our suffering. Now, I'm not saying we create difficult situations. Things happen in life, things happen. We get in car accidents, we get fired, places we work close down. We can't help those things. But what we learn with yoga is we don't have to suffer because of those things. And so there's a difference between suffering and just, kind of bad things happening. So the good news is we don't have to suffer. The bad news is life is just going to be life. Things are going to happen. But we can enjoy life, all of it, if we don't suffer. So let's become conscious of our face, our jaw, our lips, our shoulders, our breath. And let's try and notice any way that we're bringing in unnecessary tension, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or some other form. Okay? So with our next breath, we're going to come into our standing back bend. Now, the first few seconds we're in any pose, it's unlikely that you're going to suffer. But the longer we hold a pose, the more likely you are to start to resist internally. And again, it could be physically, it could be because some of the muscles begin to fatigue, or maybe you're compressing your back and you begin to feel a lot of sensation there. So again, how do you respond to the discomfort? Do you begin to clench your jaw? Do your shoulders begin to come up? Do you maybe begin to press your palms together? See if you can just stay here and stay relaxed. Keep breathing. Another way that you might resist is holding your breath, or again, taking really deep breaths in and not exhaling fully. Let's take a nice deep breath, and as we exhale, we'll release into our forward fold. Now, different people have different triggers. Some people love back bends. They just wish every class was just back bends the whole time. But then maybe in this posture, they're uncomfortable. And so again, we all have our own triggers. We all have our own situations where we might begin to unconsciously tense. So let's just stay here for a few breaths and try and stay relaxed without coming out of the posture. Yes, I would be more relaxed if I came out of the posture, but I'm intentionally not coming out of it so that I could explore again, in what ways am I creating resistance in this moment and thus creating my own suffering. All right, with our next inhale, we come to our fingertips, or we take hands to our shins. This is a pretty straightforward and easy posture, the half lift. And then as we exhale, we plant our hands and step to the top of a push-up. Ears, shoulders, hips, knees, and heels all aligned. As usual, let's drop our knees for the first push-up. We'll take a nice deep breath. Let's exhale halfway down. And this is a good place to look for suffering in this position because it's very awkward. Our arms might be shaking. We might have a hard time breathing here. So it's a good place to look. How am I creating tension unnecessarily? And very often it's mental or emotional. It's not even physical in nature. Take one more breath and then we'll exhale onto the belly and then pressing the tops of the feet and the hands into the mat, we'll inhale to a cobra. So exhale, we'll come on down, press back to a tabletop and then to downward facing dog. We'll take a few breaths in downward dog. Now let's inhale to our toes. As we exhale, we will step, jump, or float to the front edge of our mat. So we inhale, we come all the way up to standing back bend. And then we exhale into Ardha Chandrasana, pulling our arms to the left and sending our hips to the right. Now again, you might enjoy this posture, but there might be things about it that are challenging or difficult. Again, in general, most people will find a posture that's held for a few seconds is fine. The longer we hold postures, the more likely they are to feel that internal resistance arise. Let's inhale back through center. We'll exhale to the other side. This is why traditionally, yoga, the postures are held. Flow yoga is a very new thing. And it is not traditional at all. And it's very popular, I think, partly because the postures are not held for very long. And it's really in that holding that we can begin to recognize resistance and learn to let it go. Let's inhale back through center, and we'll exhale into our forward fold. Inhale to the half lift, crow. We're actually not crow yet. Let's just do half lift. And then we exhale again to the top of a push-up. So knees up or down is your choice. We'll take a deep breath and then come down halfway as we exhale. Inhaling to up dog or cobra. If you're in up dog, your knees should be off the ground. And then as you exhale, send your hips back to downward dog. And again, let's take a breath or two here. Inhaling to the toes, fill the lungs there. And as you exhale, again, make your way to the front edge of the mat. Inhale up to standing back bend. And as you exhale, we'll flow through Ardha Chandrasana. So again, pulling the arms to the left, hips to the right, and right over to the other side. Then we inhale back to center, and this time we exhale as we sit back in an imaginary chair for chair pose. Now this posture, more than perhaps any other, is an opportunity to notice how we are creating that tension. Now again, the traditional or the normal way of thinking is that this pose is causing me to suffer. Maybe even you think I'm causing you to suffer by holding you in this posture. But yoga teaches us different. And this is against maybe what we might call conventional wisdom. But if you think about it, it's a very powerful truth because it means that we can be free of suffering in any situation. If I'm creating my suffering, then that means that I can also free myself of suffering. And that's what Buddha was out to discover, and that's what he eventually taught. And I'll remind everyone that the Buddha was a very good yogi. So he learned his lesson well. We can hold this, and it does not ever need to create suffering. It might be a lot of sensation. I might start to sweat, might start to shake, but I do not need to suffer. And I think you can hear that in my voice. I'm doing the pose with you, right? It's not like I have some hookup where, you know, I'm not doing it. I'm doing it with you. I can sink my hips down even more, try and create more intensity. Let's take a deep breath in. We exhale into our forward fold. Inhale to half lift. And then this time, let's exhale, if we can, right to the bottom of our push-up. Inhale to our up dog. And on our way out, let's see if we can do another push-up as we come back to the downward dog. And again, we'll take a breath here. All right, so moving right along, let's bring those feet to touch. We'll inhale the right leg up and back, bend the knee, and we'll make some big circles in the air. And we'll do a few in the opposite direction. We're just articulating that hip joint and using the muscles in that joint. Take a deep breath. We exhale as we come into a lunge, and we inhale up into Anjani Asana. All right. We're stretching the front of the left hip. That's where you should feel it. Hips are forward, shoulders are back. And if you want to take it a step further, you can exhale and take a twist here. Make sure you still feel a stretch at the front of your left hip. Now, notice the breathing. Has it changed at all? Could you possibly breathe deeper or slower than you are right now? As we hold the postures, that's what you want to investigate, along with other things, like, again, releasing tension. But the breath helps you to relax. It helps you to release tension. So it's really a synergistic process. Noticing the breath, relaxing the face, relaxing the shoulders, breathing more deeply as you do. Good. Take a deep breath in, and we'll exhale to the bottom of our push-up. And as usual, at this stage, I'm going to stop doing all the push-ups because otherwise I run out of breath and I can't teach you very well. Let's do the other side. So we'll inhale the left leg up and back, bend the knee, and again, let's make some big circles. As wide as we can get them. And then a few in the other direction. Really feeling that hip. How's it doing? Good. Then we exhale and lunge. We inhale up into low lunge, Anjani-asana, feeling that stretch at the front of the right hip. I can stay here, or I can take the prayer twist. Using that twist to hopefully stretch the muscles of my torso, articulating my spine a bit. And again, noticing the breath. Good. We inhale, arms up, and we exhale, bottom of the push-up, making your way back to down dog. Okay. From here, we're going to inhale, and as we exhale, we'll come down into tabletop. We're going to take a look at a core exercise called the bird dog. Now, unlike some of the other exercises we've done, like tiger in this position, bird dog has basically a neutral spine. So I'm not rounding and, tilting my back. I have a neutral spine. And I'd like to keep my pelvis level. So I reach back with my toes on the inhale, and then as I exhale, I bring it back in. Inhale, other side, exhale back in. This is the simplest form that it takes. And trust me, it will get much harder as we go. So just doing this simple form, side to side. Imagine you had a cup of tea on your pelvis. And you do this, you want to avoid spilling any of the tea from the cup. Okay, so your pelvis is very level. In order to do that, you must use your core muscles, the abdominal, back, and oblique muscle groups. Good. Finishing up by extending the left leg behind you. You can either take a vinyasa here to get back to down dog, or you can go straight back. From downward dog, let's inhale as we fill our lungs, and as we exhale, we'll make our way to the front edge of the mat. Let's inhale all the way to standing back bend, and we will exhale our arms out in front of us for what's called the drinking bird. Okay, so the drinking bird is a dynamic warm up for the hamstrings. We take a nice deep breath, and as we exhale, we send the right leg behind us as we come down and touch the ground. I keep coming down until I feel stretch in the left leg. Then I inhale, I come back up. Let's continue on the same side. So exhale, right leg behind, stretching the left leg, and inhale back up. Good, continue. That's 3. Let's do 3 more. Good. Now you might be going slower than me. That is totally fine. Okay, so you follow your breath. You're breathing as deeply and slowly as you can. Side 2, take a deep breath. Exhale the left leg behind. Stretch the right hamstrings. Inhale back up. Exhale back down. Good. Continue. Good. 3 more. 2 more times. And 1 more. Beautiful. Inhale all the way to standing back bend. And exhale to forward fold. Inhale, half lift, or you could do crow pose here. And exhale, bottom of your push-up, making your way to the downward facing dog. All right, from our downward dog, let's bring our feet to touch. Inhaling the right leg up and back. And as we exhale, we'll touch the knee high up on the arm, as high as we can. Just going to hold it there for a breath. And then we'll inhale the leg up and back. And we'll exhale as we put that foot between the hands. Good. Inhale up into our low lunge. And as we exhale, we rock back into half triangle, stretching the hamstrings. Now, if you are more flexible, you may want to take a full split here, rocking the hips forward and then straightening that leg once the hips are as far forward as they can go. But most people can get a good stretch here. Bring the right side of your belly toward your right thigh. Try and get your palms to the ground if you can, otherwise use blocks. And again, focus on the breath for a few moments. Good. As we inhale, we'll come back up, and we exhale, bottom of our push-up, making our way to down dog. Side 2, the feet touch. We inhale, left leg up and back, and we exhale, touch that knee high up on our arm. Holding it there for a moment. Then we're going to inhale the leg up and back. And as we exhale, we'll lunge. Inhale to crescent lunge, and then exhale to half triangle. Good. After about 3 or 5 breaths there, we inhale, coming back up, and we exhale, bottom of our push-up, making our way back to the down dog. Okay, from here we exhale to our tabletop. We take another look at the bird dog. So this is adding a little bit to it. We do the same thing with the leg on the inhale, but this time we try and add the arm as well. Exhaling both back down. Inhale, other side. Exhale. Now again, it's not hard to lift your arm and your leg, right? What is challenging about this is trying to not move the torso at all. So I'm looking in the camera here, and what I'd like to see is if we cut the camera off so it's just on my torso, it would look like my torso isn't moving at all. That would be the ideal. I'm not saying I'm able to do that, but I want to get as close as I can to that. And again, that requires me to use core stabilization. Still relatively easy in this position, but it will get much, much more challenging as we approach the end of our class today. Let's finish up with the left leg behind us again, and then we vinyasa back to downward dog, or you can go straight back. Okay, inhaling to our toes, we're going to exhale as we step, jump, or float to the front edge of our mat. We inhale to standing back bend, and exhale our hands to the heart. Okay, let's look at Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana today, a balancing posture. We have our feet touching, we shift weight to our left foot, bending our right knee. We bring that leg up. Now, having your left hand on your hip, you can grab the shin with your right hand, like so, and you could stay there. Another option is to grab the toes or the outside edge of the foot, like so. But notice how I'm bending over to do that. You want to stand back up. Okay, so if you're going to hold the foot, make sure you can stand straight with it. And then the final level of difficulty is to exhale and extend the leg as straight as you can get it. And you're pulling that leg up and again, creating a stretch for the hamstrings as you do that. To release, try and keep the leg lifted and inhale the arm up and exhale the leg down. Good. Side two. I'll just turn this way. Bending that knee. Again, I can hold here. I can hold here. And again, I'm going to stand tall. Either way. I can stay here or I can extend the leg with the next exhalation. To release, we inhale that arm up and we exhale and release the leg. Inhale, arms up, touch palms, lift the heart, standing back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, crow or handstand, and exhale, bottom of your push-up, making your way to downward dog. Okay, let's bring our feet to touch here in down dog. We're going to inhale the right leg up and back. Exhale, placing that foot between the hands. And then we bring both arms inside of that leg, sinking down to what's called a lizard. So lizard pose, you pretty much want your torso as far down as you can get it. So you're really sinking down into the posture if you can. All right, nice and deep down into it. Should feel a stretch in that front leg. So that's going to be your right leg. And whenever you feel a stretch, I want that to remind you to breathe more deeply, more smoothly, and more slowly. Because all of those things are going to
signal to your body, to your nervous system, to release tension rather than to create tension. When you stretch, if you're not careful, your body actually fights the stretch, just reflexively. It's not a conscious thing, which is why you have to use your breath to counteract all the unconscious ways that the body might try and resist the stretch. Okay, so from here, we will inhale to Anjani Asana, and we exhale bottom of our push-up, making our way to the down dog. Okay. Oh, no, wait, sorry. That was wrong. We want to stay here, and then we will inhale up into crescent lunge. So sorry, we're still in the lunge, and then we're going to inhale up like so. Okay, so we're in our crescent lunge. Front knee and foot pointing straight ahead. Back leg is straight. That heel is reaching toward the ground. Left hip forward, right hip back. Arms are straight up and back. Breath is deep, rhythmic, and slow. Good. We exhale, bottom of the push-up, or you could do Eka Pada Koundinyasana on your way out if you know that arm balance. Okay, side two. So our feet touch. We inhale the left leg up and back. And we exhale and lunge. And then we come down to the lizard lunge, right? So again, torso is really sinking down inside of that left leg. Feel that stretch in the leg, breathe into it. Good. Hopefully you feel that some of that tension has released. I definitely feel that way. Now, bring hands to either side of that foot. We're going to tuck the back toes, lift that knee up, and then we inhale up into our crescent lunge, Ashta Chandrasana, right? So we're really wide with those legs, sinking those hips down, working deep into those hips, breathing into that. Good. We exhale, bottom of our push-up, again, making our way back to downward facing dog. The next exhale, we'll come down to our tabletop, and now we'll take a look at the classic bird dog pose. Okay, so the classic bird dog is almost exactly like what we've been doing, except I lift the leg now. And you'll notice I'm not lifting the leg way up here, just so that it's leveled my torso. And it's as though if I'm trying to press a hole through the wall behind me with the heel of my foot, right? So my foot is flexed. I'm not pointing my toes back. Heel is like that. Now again, if I can, I'm going to lift my arm simultaneously. Exhale, and then inhale, right? Now again, even though it's a little more challenging to lift the leg completely, for most people, it's not that challenging. The real challenge is I'm trying to not lift my hip up as I do that, right? Let my shoulder dip down, which is the tendency here. Okay, so yes, the movements in isolation are not that difficult. It's when we understand that we're trying to keep the torso stable that it becomes more of a challenge. And we need to, again, really pay attention, because otherwise you're going to be doing it wrong, really fast, all over the place, and you're not even going to realize you're doing it incorrectly. All right, again, let's finish up with the left leg behind us. And then we'll make our way back to our downward facing dog. From down dog, we'll inhale to our toes, and let's exhale, step, jump, or float to the front edge of our mat. We inhale back up to standing back bend, and we again exhale our hands to the hips. Okay, let's take a look at Uttita Hasta Padangustasana second variation. For this one, I'll turn to face this direction, as it should be a little bit easier to see. Now, we shift weight over to our left foot. We bend the right knee. I'm going to mirror you for this one, okay? And so again, I'm holding my right leg with my right hand. I can do the whole pose like this. Or again, I can reach down, but again, I'm going to stand tall. If I'm holding the toe or the foot, with the next exhale, I'll extend the leg, same as before. And now, to add to it, we extend the leg to the right and the arm to the left. All right, I try and get that leg as straight as I can. Now, if that's too much, again, I'll be here instead. Either way, I'm getting a little stretch in the groin. For more challenge, I look away from the leg, okay, over to the left. Good. We'll inhale as we come back to center. And exhale, release the pose. Same thing on the other side. So I'm shifting weight to my right foot, bend the left knee, and here, and then extending the leg. And with the next exhale, bringing the leg out to the side, looking over to the right. Good. We inhale, come on back to center, release the leg, keep it lifted, and then exhale and release the leg down. Good. So inhale, arms up, touch palms, lift the heart, standing back bend, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, and exhale, bottom of your push-up. Okay. In downward dog, let's bring our feet to touch. We'll inhale the right leg up and back, and we'll exhale into lizard. Okay, so we've done lizard once already. Should be familiar. Hopefully most of that tension is gone from that leg. And now that it's gone, let's see if we can put that leg on like we're putting on a backpack. We bring the hands and bring them more or less underneath our shoulders. Then notice that my elbow is bent. And then looking forward and not down, I try and lift my right leg up as straight as I can. Okay, and again, what happens to my breath as I try and do that? Am I adding any excess tension anywhere, unnecessary tension I want to notice? Good. Let's bring that foot back down. One hand on either side of the foot. We tuck the back toes, and we inhale up to crescent lunge. We exhale our arms out like wings. Take a nice deep breath. And we exhale to our warrior three, Virabhadrasana 3. Okay, so we're here. We want to lift that back leg up without lifting the hip, flexing the toes, pointing the toes, knee and hip down. And then we take a nice deep breath, and we sweep our arms forward to frame our ears. For more challenge, you simply bend the standing leg, and you'll begin to fatigue those muscles more quickly. And by fatiguing them, you will ultimately make them stronger. So exhale, bottom of the push-up. I do want to mention that if that hurts your knee at all, don't do it. And I hope that if you're hurting a part of your body doing any technique, you don't want to do it. Okay? Challenging or discomfort is okay. In fact, we want some discomfort, but we don't want like sharpshooting pain or things like that. That can be a sign that we're doing something we shouldn't be doing. Okay, feet touch. Inhale, left leg up and back. And we lunge into the lizard. And you might get to the point where you can do that in one exhalation. Okay, once you're there, we again take that left leg. See if we can put it over our shoulder like a backpack. Again, the hands are more or less under the shoulders. So my hands are not out here. They're not out here. Just under the shoulders. I look forward, not down. And I try and lift that left leg up as high as I can. Now, if I were more flexible, I'd straighten it completely. But this is my limit. Okay? So you just see if you can get the heel off the ground. Some people can, some can't. But just by trying, you create some changes in your body. Beneficial changes. All right, bring that foot back down. One hand on either side of the foot. Tuck that back toes under, lift that knee up, and inhale to our crescent lunge. From there, we exhale, grow some wings, take a nice deep breath, and we kick off the back leg. I'm just going to step back here into our warrior three. So let's get that leg right first. And then once the leg is right, we sweep the arms into position. And then again, for more, I can bend the standing leg. Good. Exhale, bottom of your push-up, making your way to downward facing dog. Okay, now we exhale back down to our bird dog. Now, I haven't mentioned today that you do not need to progress to the harder and harder variations as we get to them. If at a certain stage you found yourself very challenged by something we were doing, I would just repeat that. I would repeat it until you can breathe properly, until you can relax a bit, and then you can get yourself out of the comfort zone again. But if you're way out of your comfort zone to start, there's no point in taking yourself further out. It's not going to really do you much good. Okay? So this one is called the classic elevated bird dog. And what I'd like to do is lift my knees so that they're level, about level with my heels, not too much more than that. So I'm not up here, right? My knees are bent. Then I try and do the same thing, lifting the leg and, if I can, the arm. Exhale back down. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. You can see how wobbly I am, okay? And that's good. That means that there's something for my body to learn here. If I did this every single day, then at a certain point, I probably would not be wobbly anymore. My body will have learned how to do this more perfectly. Okay, I'm already better at it than when I first learned this exercise. So just by doing it and demoing it for students, my body has already learned how to do it more efficiently, more effectively. All right, we finish on with the left leg behind us, making our way back to the downward dog. From down dog, we inhale to our toes, and we exhale, step, jump, or float to the front edge of our mat. Inhale to standing back bend, and we exhale our hands to our hips. Now we'll do Uttita Hasta Padangustasana C variation. Shifting weight to our left foot, we bend the right knee as before, but this time I'm going to grab with my left hand, not my right hand. And again, I can hold the shin, I can hold the toe or the foot. Once again, I'm going to stand tall once I have that foot. I could stay there and just exhale the hand behind with my gaze, follow with my gaze, or I can extend the leg as I extend the arm. Okay, so I'm taking a twist in addition to stretching the leg and the hamstring here. Good, we inhale back to center, and we exhale and release. Same thing on the other side, okay? Bending the left knee, I grab the shin or the toe or the foot,
Inhale back up and exhale and take the twist. Good. Inhale and exhale, release. Inhale, standing back bend. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, bottom of the push-up. All right, everyone. So we're in the home stretch here. This is our last set of postures. Standing postures anyway. So feet touch. Inhale that right leg up and back. This time, let's see if we can exhale the knee high up on the arm, straighten the leg, and lift the back leg up for Eka Pada Koundinyasana, first variation. Just give it the old college try, and then inhale that leg up and back. Exhale and lunge. Inhale up to crescent lunge. Exhale, grow some wings. Take a deep breath there. And with the next exhalation, come into your warrior three. Take a deep breath there. And with the next exhale, come into standing splits. Lift the back leg up, pointing those toes toward the ceiling. Walk your hands toward your standing leg. And if you can, try grabbing the standing leg with one or both hands. If you are a handstand practitioner, you could jump or pike up into handstand here. Take a nice deep breath, and as we exhale, we take the bottom of our push-up, making our way to downward dog. From downward dog, let's bring our feet to touch. We'll inhale the left leg up and back. And as we exhale, we take that leg high up the arm, we straighten it, and we try and lift the back leg up. Again, that's called Eka Pada Koundinyasana, first variation. Give it the old college try, then inhale the leg up and back. Exhale and lunge. Inhale to crescent lunge. Exhale, grow some wings. Take a nice deep breath there. And with the next exhale, take warrior three. Take another deep breath and exhale to standing splits. This is a good time to check in. Make sure you're not phoning it in at this point. Right, we're getting tired at this stage of the practice. Might be sweating and shaking. But let's see if we can give it 150%. And when I say that, I'm not talking about physical exertion. I'm really talking about sort of a mentally giving it your all, really showing up. Good. We'll take a deep breath. Exhale, bottom of our push-up. Make our way back to downward facing dog. All right. Let's exhale down, and we'll do our last set of bird dogs. The last one might actually be harder than this one, so don't be afraid to try this one. With this one, we come into basically a plank position, okay? And then from plank, I lift the leg, and I try lifting the arm. Exhale, and then inhale. All right, so it's a little like a toy soldier kind of action. Very rigid, right? Because you're trying to hold both halves of your body and keep the hip and the shoulder from dipping. And again, your body is learning each time you do this. And it learns by making mistakes, by overcompensating, undercompensating. So it's really the repetition that helps you to learn more than anything. Good. Finishing up with the left leg behind you. Make your way back to downward dog. Okay, last of our standing postures. We inhale to our toes. We exhale, front edge of the mat. Inhale, standing back bend.
And then we exhale into a forward fold. Okay, we'll take our feet a little wider. And then we try and put on both sides of the backpack. Okay, so like we did earlier, take those legs, put them on over our shoulders. Okay, and then I let my hips come down. My hands come behind my feet, and then I replace my feet with them. I can try one foot at a time, right? And then I can try both feet together. That's called Titibhasana or firefly. If that's easy for you, try working on shooting back and then taking a vinyasa from that position. Okay, making your way to down dog. Okay, so let's make our way back to down dog, and then we'll exhale onto our belly. Or no, actually, let's do a child pose. So we'll come down to a child pose. In child, make sure your arms are extended in front of you, framing the ears. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, walk your hands as far to the left as you can until you feel a stretch in your right waist and ribs. Inhale, we'll come back to center, and we'll exhale over to the other side. Inhale, back to center. Exhale here. And with your next inhale, come up into position for a camel, the back bend. Okay, so hips or knees and feet are hip distance apart. You can tuck your toes if you'd like to make the heels a little easier to grab. Hands onto the low back, elbows in toward one another. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale as you begin going back. You can let your chin go back, and you can let your hands go back. Inhale, come on up, and then exhale into a child pose. This time, let's bring our hips or our hands back towards our heels. Let those shoulders drop. Inhale, we'll sit on up, cross those ankles, and bring our legs out in front of us. Flexing the feet and straightening the spine, we'll inhale the arms up. As we exhale, come forward and down, grabbing our feet or interlacing our fingers. Inhale as we lengthen the spine, and exhale as we fold in, stretching the back side of the body gently. Inhale, come on up. And exhale as you roll back onto your back. Once you get there, draw those legs in. Give them a nice squeeze. Make a few circles on your back. And then, extending the arms out to the side, we'll take both knees to the left as we look to the right. Just let your breathing be natural now. And try and let gravity do the work for you in the twist. Inhale back to center, and we'll exhale those knees off to the other side. Be sure to look away from the knees. So inhale our knees back to center, and we will grab the soles of our feet for a happy baby. Rocking side to side, forward and back. Extending the legs one at a time or both together. Pulling the legs apart, pulling them overhead, stretching our back. And then whenever you're ready, you can unwind onto your back, coming into Shavasana, the corpse pose. And my recommendation is that you take the next 6 minutes or so. So if you have a phone nearby, you can set your timer. And if you want to take longer than that, that is absolutely fine. But I would at least do 6 minutes. And during that time, you just want to be still. So I had a guy today in Shavasana, he kept looking at his watch, right? That's the kind of thing you don't want to do, right? It's not going to speed it up. It's the same 6 minutes, whether you're looking at the watch or not. So try and just let everything go for those 6 minutes and just really do like the pose says, like dead man's pose, corpse pose. Your corpses don't move. You just lay them out. They're never going to move. They're just going to stay there. And that's exactly what you want to do for the next 6 minutes, okay? All right, I want to thank you all for joining me. It was a lot of fun teaching you. I hope you got something from this. Let me know if there are any questions or if there's any way I can help support you at this time. I am thinking of doing some outdoor classes as the weather cools. So if you're interested in that, get in touch. We will do some chanting, some postures, probably some meditation, and a little talk, yoga talk. All right, so I hope to see you for one of those soon. All right, namaste, everyone. Thanks, and I'll see you next Wednesday or in yin in 15 minutes. Bye.